For over 1,000 years, Western civilization has been stuck in a dark age of sexual repression and misinformation. We get an oversexed overload from the media, but nothing in the way of honest, helpful, practical information on sex and how to do it right. That sucks, and I'm fucking sick of it. My name's JV Altheras, and I've spent a couple decades learning everything I can about how to have amazing sex and more of it. Not in a classroom like a lot of people who talk about sex. I learned it all in the gutter, right where Mom told me I'd end up. It's my mission to bring an end to the sexual dark age with brutally honest talk and education on all aspects of sex and sexuality, in an atmosphere that will keep you entertained without treating you like an idiot. Shara and I are not doctors. Certifiable, perhaps, but not certified in any way. And that means we don't have to talk about vaginas and penises to maintain academic credibility. You got a problem with a vagina? Call a gynecologist. You want to learn more about pussies and cocks and how to make them happy? You've come to the right place. Greetings and welcome to episode 78. My co-host is speechless. My, isn't that helpful? Thank you, Princess.
Do I have a ball gag in my mouth? Nope, I don't. Sorry, I was reading.
Wait, are you asking to have a ball gag in your mouth on the podcast?
On the podcast, there'd be a lot of drooling all over the microphone. I don't know if that's a good idea.
No, you wouldn't actually be above the microphone.
I would make a point of being above the microphone.
You make me wear a ball gag, I'm going to drool all over your shit.
There you go.
That's the implied threat from all submissives with ball gags, too.
I don't know. Let's take a vote on that. No, let's not, because I always seem to lose on those.
Oh, come on. You haven't asked the internet to vote on something in a while.
I know, and there's a reason for that.
Ever since the last time you asked them to vote against the xylophone.
Oh, boy. That's why, So first, I want to apologize.
Apologize for what?
For not getting on FetLife more often.
Yeah.
FetLife, is one that's always goes to the back burner.
Yeah, it's kind of the bastard child of social media networks, and also there are security problems, so.
Well, I was always honest about that and said it's better to reach out to our Facebook page, send a private message. But however, we get a lot of great people that add us to FetLife and send us questions. So, literally, far behind. So, I'm going to try to straighten that out. You and I talked about some things that we can do to make that happen. And one of them being that I'm going to print out something so we can review them right away. And then, of course, I will shred them. But I think that it would be a good way for us to review them together.
Yep, and I concur. That's a good idea.
We get...
Anything that other people can do to help me be more organized is appreciated and necessary.
Got it. I'd hire a secretary, but I don't think we'd get very far if we hired a secretary.
No, we just need a live-in slave.
Again, we probably wouldn't get very far. I don't know.
Good hours, lots of orgasms.
So, but one of the things that I think humbles me the most is when we get something from people telling us that they love the podcast, and I appreciate those. But I want to just read this one from somebody that, touched me. He writes, "Hello, my wife and I are both huge fans of ending the sexual dark age. We are new to the lifestyle and have, in a great part, you and JV to thank. We are currently listening to every episode as fast as we possibly can, and as a result discussing more openly about our kinks and desires and exploring new areas of BDSM together. Thank you for helping to change a near-death, almost 10-year vanilla marriage into a new and exciting dome sub-dynamic." Just reading that, I got goosebumps because I think you know that I consider myself to be an average human being, no big deal. And when you...
An outstandingly wet pussy. Go on.
That helps too, but
B is for blush.
But when you receive messages like that have made a difference, people sometimes don't realize, and BDSM is sometimes considered, like a black mark, like it's not normal, and and who, by the way, defines normal? There is no real Leave It to Beaver families out there. And so when I read that we've made a difference in what was a 10-year marriage, and they are now exploring different things and are extremely happy. I mean, there's more in that to go than what I read, but that was the basic. To me, it makes a big difference in people's lives. It touches me, to know that this is just one that we've received. We received so many of those, and I can't tell you how much it touches me. It makes me feel so happy inside that people have somewhere to turn. And I'm sure we're not the only podcast that makes a difference in people's lives, but to receive those letters, it just means a lot to me. It means it's a big deal. And I want to thank you because, I was in some bad relationships prior to, and you really made a big difference in that. You made a big difference because no matter what else is going on in our lives, you always make sure that I'm taken care of. You always make sure that I'm happy if I'm having a bad day. Hopefully I don't require a lot of work, but,
I try to take good care of my toys.
And so...
My car stays waxed, your ass stays waxed.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So all joking aside, it's one of those moments that I take this part of it, even though we have a lot of fun with the podcast, and we do, I take it very seriously. So I appreciate the people that write to us and share their stories, because I don't share them with everybody. Publicly we don't share it unless they say it's okay to. But if people only knew the letters that we've received, and today it's just one of those times because we've really gotten back into doing regular podcasts again, and we're not going to let it slide. I will not let it slide.
You hear that, everybody?
Yep, it's going to be me. If it slides, it's going to be me because, I'll have to figure something out. I can't drag him by his hair, but I will do whatever I can to make sure.
Bring you the travel microphone.
There we go. I'll do that. And I'll do it naked, whatever I have to do.
And we are coming up, at the risk, and I've discussed this off air, Shara. It seems like for the last couple of years, we've focused most of our podcasting energy around our desire trips. So we end up talking about that a lot. Mm-hmm. And I want to make an effort not to have this seem like the desire show.
Right.
At the same time, there's a lot of cool things that happen in conjunction with that trip that are worth talking about.
Well, in actuality, we just received a FetLife message about somebody who's a single male, and he was in a relationship, and they went to clothing optional resorts, and they broke up, and so now he's single, and he enjoys the BDSM lifestyle. Right. And the kink.
And we have reached out to Jim at Shar Travel on his behalf, because if anyone we know is going to be able to pull a name of an acceptable resort out of a hat, it's going to be Jim. But yeah, so we got this year, since it is a takeover, the group has unprecedented power to influence the resort and what happens at the resort. So Wednesday night, we are taking over the disco for a dungeon party. The resort, I'm not going to count this until I actually see it, but the resort purports to be willing to build us some bondage furniture for the dungeon, because they'd like to have it around, which is good times.
Very good times.
Yeah, and we have the size of the crowd is unprecedented. So we're taking over the resort. The size of the crowd's unprecedented. It's going to be 110 or 112 couples, but there are still a few rooms left. So don't hesitate to call Jim at Shar Travel.
Last I saw 7, right?
Yes.
Might be less. 7. Might be less.
Shartravel.com, CHARTRAVEL.com. Swing Set Takes Desire. And we'd love to see those last few rooms get sold. We'd love to see a few people decide at the last minute to come join us, because it's going to be a hell of a party this year.
Yes, we would love that. And if you're in a relationship, but it's somewhat new, but you both are kinksters, then you may want to talk to that significant other and see about going. And it's money worth spending.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about the kinky aspect of it, because we're kinky. I mean, we kind of started on this trip 3 years ago as the kink ambassadors. Right.
Thank you again to Life on the Swing Set, who urged us to come along, and we thank you.
Awesome people have been very welcoming of us, and the various things that we have decided to bring to the resort and do to the resort over the course of our 10-year co-hosting the trip.
And acceptance is a big thing in in many different areas of life, and the swing set has been very open and very fulfilling with us. And when I say that, it's not, when you're going into mixing people who play together versus the kinksters, the BDSM lifestyle, and mixing those two together, it's been pretty phenomenal. The acceptance that you wonder, will they really embrace us? And they have. I mean, they really have. So I urge anyone that is thinking about going to, it's worth the money because of the fact that like you said, actually I didn't let you finish. You were saying about the people and,
I'm just riffing on the resort, so that's okay. You didn't cut me off in the middle of anything important.
It's the fact that it's the conversations like we talked about before.
Oh yeah, we are now to the point where we are scheduling conversations to be had at the resort over drinks.
And sometimes it's kinky stuff, but sometimes it's the nerdy stuff. And, I don't consider myself to be a nerd. However, I think I have...
You're a nerd by injection.
I am definitely now a nerd by injection.
Man, you're in rare form today. B is for blush.
When I saw Kat's outfit that she's going to be bringing, my first thought was...
Oh, yeah, the R2-D2 ballerina?
My first thought was, can I play with the knobs? Okay, that was my first thought. And,
Well, ask her nicely and you'll find out.
I did ask her nicely. I did. Maybe I didn't say please. I'll go back and look. And if I didn't say please, I'll repeat it. Yes, it's very important. I know. So anyway, but the conversations that we have, you walk away with some very, very good friends. We hadn't met Cooper and Dylan and Miko and Ginger and Prof. We hadn't met them until, we talked with them a lot. But
right. We'd guest spotted on each other's podcasts.
Yes, but we didn't actually meet them. And, so my first meeting with him is standing behind Cooper as he's up on the stage and his, boa and those lovely socks and...
The feather boa, the rainbow socks, and nothing else.
And to get hugged by him at that moment when he first saw that it was us and meeting us in person meant a lot to me. It was one of those moments that you're like, this is a person that is open to all things. So a shout out to them because they really are a great group of people. All of them. I've had some pretty good hugs from every one of them.
And we are now making play dates in advance, which is something fun. And, it's cool to have a couple things that are just sort of scheduled. Like, we didn't say, hey, Tuesday at 8,
right.
But we're making some plans. And I think one of the coolest things about that is that we're interacting more with
right.
people we're going to be at the resort with earlier. So, the first web chat really kind of hit home and made me really miss everybody we're going to see on the trip.
Mm-hmm.
You do a pretty good job of suppressing how much you miss these people most of the year. But then it starts getting closer, and then you're, bullshitting back and forth on the internet and starting to make actual plans. This year, there's actually going to be a handout in a program, which is something that was just a little bit too much in the overall work of planning the trip in the past, but it's being distributed a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm doing a piece, Ginger's doing a piece, Duncan is, Cooper is, so so it's cool. We're gonna be able to be better prepared, and our event, which we have hosted 2 years in a row, Champagne and Flogging, was in the disco last year, and it was awesome. And we're gonna have to rename it because we have a couple of friends who are going to be doing a rope bondage demo, like a bedroom bondage demo, for the first hour of the block, and then we're gonna do another 1 hour. We're going to do flogging and other impact play. But we are preparing in the handouts, we are preparing a lot of the general safety and stuff so that people will, A, have it to take home with them, B, they'll be able to read about it and kind of get their heads around what we're talking about before the beginning of the demo. So it becomes a lot more hands-on and will probably be a lot more fun.
Exactly. And I think it's kind of become our home away from home. We go twice a year.
Yeah. Well, when we bought a slice of the place, I think we made that decision for ourselves. So. And
both trips are great trips. And that's where we choose to spend our money and our time at because it's a trip that both trips are different. We're very involved in the November in helping to promote whatever it is that Life on the Swing Set it needs from us. And then the April trip is kind of laid back, relaxed, and, no requirements for us. So both different, but I love them both.
Yep, absolutely.
I know that the November trip is more work for us. However, we have a lot of fun in between all of the work, and it's worth every bit that we put into it, because...
Yep, and we need 14 more adventurers to join us.
Yes.
Still a little over a month.
Got time.
It's time to get the good last-minute prices on flights.
Pull that piggy bank out. You can make it
Our
happen.
flights out of Detroit were not very full. Of course, we're going down a day early.
Yes.
Everyone go ahead and hate us.
Well, I think that when you're involved as much as Cooper, Ginger, Prof, Dylan, all of them, Miko, you almost have to come down a day early because you need that day of rest before everything begins happening. So
yeah, a travel day is exhausting.
I mean,
it bums me out. We every time we've gone down there, we've been able to get nonstop flights both ways, and this is the first time we have a layover, and it bums me out. I mean, at least it's on the way out there, so the trip home doesn't get extended. We do have a nonstop on the way home.
Yes, but any of our listeners that are in the Georgia area, we're going to be at the Georgia airport for an hour.
If you feel like dealing with airport security, to hang out with us for an hour.
Come have a drink with us. Hopefully the hour will go fast. And,
I have flown in and out of that airport a number of
I
times
know.
for business. And
I know.
Never been a good experience.
I know.
This time I'm not leaving a secured area.
I would hate when our customer would call and say, would you please book JV a flight? And I'm like, oh, not the Georgia. Oh, no. It can't be so because
fucking General Motors Doraville Assembly. Oh.
He hated it. Oh, so anyway.
And how is there a GM plant that employs thousands of people and not a single cab driver that works the airport that knows where it is?
I know.
But I'm about to go off on it.
I know. All I can say is...
I'm going to rein myself back in there.
All I can say is when JV would return from those trips, there'd be a lot of sex and blowjobs involved because it took 3 weeks to get him out of the... let's just forget about the airport, okay, babe? Let's just forget about it. It's just not a good thing. So it would take me quite a while. But, I think part of it is he'd drag it on an extra week to get more blowjobs. But, I could be wrong. I don't think I am.
I don't need to use deception to get blowjobs.
I know. I know.
It's been a long time since... Well, I mean, I've never been one to use deception to get anything I want sexually. Yeah, no, it's been, that thought process has not even existed in my head for a long time.
Well, it was just there in mind because I was like, he should be over this by now. And I know he's always told me what great blowjobs I give. But, still dragging it on another week of, that Georgia airport just kind of made me wonder a little, just a little. But I do have, I kind of posted something on Facebook about it. You do a song that I absolutely love when you sing.
The Scotsman.
Yes. And JV has...
Maybe we'll go to karaoke if Dylan does it again.
Yeah. JV has 2 awesome kilts that he just received.
Yes, I have my kilts.
And I have a favorite. I will admit I became even wetter when he put the black one on. So that's my favorite.
Well, that's a utility kilt, too.
I know.
Not from utilitykilts.com, from sportkilt.com, but it's got all kinds of D-rings, and I still have to finish equipping it, but that's
probably what got me the wettest.
It's my fucking utility belt for the dungeon party.
I know. I'm telling you, I stared at it, and I got all wet.
Awesome.
I just got wet and wetter. So, that being said, I had this little thing in my head about, okay, so I'll have him sing the Scotsman song, and, then I'll do the blowjob while he's wearing his kilt, because, when the 2 ladies looked underneath the kilt, there it was.
That's right.
Birthday surprise. So I decided that it'd be fun to give you a blowjob while you're wearing the kilt, and then
I think that's a great idea.
And then everyone knows that listens to the song what happens at the end, and I'm going to make that happen. So I thought that would be fun, and I asked the question if anyone knew what that would be, and Corey answered right away. Corey answered right away.
Come on, our friends? Seriously? Took like 14 whole minutes.
If that. I was impressed. But anyway, so yes. So I think some fun things are going to happen on this trip, like always, but I think this one is going to be, out of all the trips, because it's a takeover, one of the most awesome trips ever. So if you have the money and you can find the time, then please join us and let us know so that we can watch for you at the welcoming gate there at the door.
Yeah, so we will probably be half sauced in the lobby by the time anyone shows up on Saturday.
Half sauced? Did I ever really get really wasted on any of the Desire trips? I'm trying to remember.
Well, I mean, not...
Ginger taught us well about the...
Not like storytelling wasted. I mean, you've never done anything ridiculous that turned into a good story because you were wasted.
I think that's a good thing. I don't know. Maybe
You've been pretty fucking hammered, though.
Have I? Okay.
I poured you into bed a few nights there, yeah.
Did you take advantage of me?
Like I have to. Why do I want you sloppy and drunk? I can just wake you up in the middle of the night and have you sober.
This is true. This is true. Oh. Yes, I know. What can I say? You know, I admit that I was, you know, you've been working a lot of hours. Well, we both have. But brain activity for you is a lot more because you have so much more to handle. So
my brain is tired.
I know. So the other night, I decided rather than wake you up, which I know is always okay, I decided I'll just go and pick up one of your porn movies to watch on your computer there.
That's my rather thorough collection of kink.com.
Yep.
Fine productions.
Yes, and it's so much better when you don't have to just watch a trailer or, you know, you get to watch the full version. Anyway, so I decided, yeah, I'm going to go in there and pull out one of my toys. And one of the listeners was like, toys? When you got JV there? I just didn't have the heart to wake you up. I know it's okay.
Well, it's okay. And I have always vocally supported the use of toys as stand-ins for cock. You know, I believe women should play with their pussies as often as possible.
Well, we know I do that daily.
Yes. It is a well-established fact that, I said this in one of the early episodes, female sexuality is like a freight train. You got to get it moving and keep it moving.
I
would rather have you masturbate 2 or 3 times a day whenever you feel the need for it, because that keeps your motor running for whenever I want to play.
The hard part is when we're at the office and we have so many employees now, and I try to lock my door.
No more fucking at the office. That's lame.
But I can, even masturbating at the office, unless we get there early, which we do, and we stay after, which we do. But lately we've been trying to get out of there shortly after everybody else does. But I'm telling you, man, it's difficult to do the masturbating at work. So I lock my door, but then I'm always nervous about somebody's going to be knocking at my door and I'm going to have to hurry up and answer the door right away. But that being said, somebody also asked if the xylophone was present when I was masturbating. And to that listener, who I love dearly, no.
I don't even have a work xylophone.
Well, I wasn't, okay, back up. I wasn't talking about work.
That's a great idea.
No. Yes. Wait, no. Okay.
Work xylophone?
Okay.
Of course I need a work xylophone.
No, you don't.
Thank you.
No, I didn't say that. Okay. Oh, shit. What did I just do? Okay, what I was saying was, I was in here in the office. When I say office...
Oh, in the home office.
The home office, okay?
Yeah. Remember
when I said I didn't wake you? You weren't sleeping.
Then we were talking about the shop.
Okay, but I was
getting back... about having to answer the door.
Then I came back to the home office. A listener asked...
She is so flustered right now, guys. This is adorable.
It's not adorable. Let's forget about the office xylophone. Okay. So, anyway... You were sleeping in the bed. I was in here at the office at home. And one of the listeners said, did you have the xylophone handy? Well, JV is the one who plays the xylophone, rings the xylophone, not I. So definitely when I am masturbating, I am not worrying about the xylophone when I've got my dildo in one hand. And I admit, dildo in the right hand and with my left hand, I'm down there touching the juices flowing because, I don't know, it excites me to feel those juices, you know, just when I'm coming. And I admit I almost forgot the towel because, you know, I have a lot of squirting that goes on.
Curly jizz, yes.
And it's a damn good thing. Again, Kat mentions about her needing, I don't know, 3 or 4 towels or something.
Amazon.com.
And I can't believe I'm talking and he's like looking up Amazon.com because he's going to order another xylophone for the office. Okay. Concentrate here. We're on the podcast. But this is, you know, Kat was talking about how she, had to put 3 or 4 towels on. And for some reason, Kat, I thought about you, and I'm not quite sure why at that very moment, but it made me realize I better get a towel because I'm going to squirt, and I know I'm going to squirt. So, because I could I don't know if Kat can tell or others can tell, and I'd be interested in hearing some responses on that. I can tell when I'm going to squirt before we even have sex. Well,
that'd be another great impromptu podcast of desire.
Yes.
I swear I'm just going to walk around. Well, I won't walk around with the mic all the time because I really don't have any pockets most of the time.
Oh, yeah, that could be a little bit more difficult. So, the robes, do those have pockets?
Yes, they do.
Your kilts have pockets.
They do. Fisher Price.
Oh, okay. Wait till we're done with the podcast, please, Master. You're just trying to make my face red again. It's still solid red. Look, it's still solid red. No need to try to make me blush more.
Oh, look, they changed the xylophone. It's got a little handle on it now.
Oh, no.
Oh, there's one that looks like a dinosaur with wheels on it.
That's for the people that are, in the old ages, I think. So Fisher Price would be so happy to know what you use the xylophone for.
I bet there are people working there who would be thrilled.
Working there, possibly. And then they're going to take it to their boss and go, listen to this podcast.
Fisher Price is a pretty big company. Statistically, at least one person who works at Fisher Price has probably heard our show.
I'm thinking maybe Fisher Price will want to be an advertiser for our show.
Oh, yeah.
Won't that go over big?
Wrong kind of toys. Move along.
Okay. Yes, let's move along. Let's not talk about the xylophone anymore. So, anything else?
No. Well, after a quick break, we are going to post something that we recorded last time we were at Desire.
Okay.
A fun conversation that actually you just saw a listener message on, talking about, well, many years ago, and this may be kind of redundant, but we recorded it a little while ago. Years ago, we were going to share the process I used to train Shara to come on command, to see if it was something that could be duplicated by others. And it generated some interest. We were never really able to get it off the ground with what we felt like was enough people to make a study meaningful. However, in the intervening time, we have found other people who have accomplished similar things, so we are going to go ahead and start a project to see what kind of success other people might have with this method without any in-person instruction or conversation necessary. So, after a brief word from our sponsors, we will tell you a whole lot more about Shara's uncontrollable pussy. When we were researching budget bondage gear at a listener's request, we stumbled onto ExtremeRestraints.com and found the most impressive bondage gear site on the internet. And we don't say that lightly.
We bought a bunch of toys to try them out, and we're so impressed with the selection, quality, and service that we reached out to them about sponsoring the show.
From basic whips to top-notch floggers, from beginner cuffs to shackles and cages, from nipple clamps to fucking machines, from budget to bad fucking ass. ExtremeRestraints.com has put together an immense catalog of kinky gear that we honestly believe is second to none on the internet.
And not only do they offer a free gift and 99-cent toys for new customers, plain brown wrapper shipping, and free shipping on orders over $119, they'll give you 10% off if you enter the promo code ESDA at checkout.
And that's not 10% off on your first order. It's 10% off every order, forever, as long as you enter the code. Because they're awesome and they support this show. You can listen to episode 70 for more details, or just check out ExtremeRestraints.com, use the promo code ESDA, and get your kink on. This question comes from Scally in Seattle. I discovered you guys years ago when I was a freshly minted sex nerd and an unhappy virgin, more unhappy than I even realized at the time. You were the first MS dynamic couple I ever met, and it was also the first place I heard about chain orgasm. I always loved the way you guys talked about your relationship. Fast forward a few years, and I'm entering a kinky relationship all my own. Thank you guys for making this so understandable and normal to me, by the way. I'm really enjoying myself. My master is interested in training me to be more orgasmic. And, of course, Shara was the first person I thought of because she was the first person to make that a possibility. In my mind, I seem to remember Shara having gone through training, oh boy, did I, to get the way she is. Master suggested I write the two of you and ask how you went about it, and if you
have any advice for me? Thank you so much for expanding my sex world. Scally in Seattle.
All right, so this leads us into the shit that fell by the wayside department. It was once upon a time, and it was quite a long time ago. I have the method that I use to train you to come on command. Now, let me not get ahead of myself. Way back when, we were about ready to start a project where we were going to try and get together with a few dominant couples and have the method that I used on you tested on them. I wanted to try and make it kind of formal, fairly sciencey, because you're
a science nerd.
Well, yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. Guilty. So I was making it. My intention was to make it very sciencey. Now, since then, we have informally had the opportunity to meet and play with and speak with a great number of people who also use orgasm control in one fashion or another on both male and female submissives. For the point of this, we're going to talk about the female submissives because that's the anatomy that we're manipulating. But, so we have had a chance to talk to a lot of people who use different orgasm command and control methods. And we have found that none of them are quite like what I did to you.
Correct.
You know what? I'm unprepared without my xylophone, but I'm just going to let that sit for a second.
Thank you, Desire Resorts. But Prof, of course, would have...
No, I have a xylophone on my phone. I just don't want to make the audience listen while I get it out.
Let's not pause this or anything. Let's keep going.
Well, the conclusion we have come to, and we have discussed this recently, even before this question came up, we are going to reignite that effort, but we're going to do it a lot less formally. So I have a method which I use to train Shara to literally come on command. Now, most orgasm control methods are kind of rooted around orgasm denial. You give stimulation and bring the submissive close to the point of orgasm, and then the control is the refusal to let them orgasm. And the coming on command is usually a release of that pent-up energy, so to speak. Now, our method is very literally an orgasm on command. Now, for Shara, this is... Well, I'll let you talk about the physical sensations.
Well, there's a couple for me. And it's depending on how you're doing the orgasm control part of it. Sometimes, like, you'll click your fingers and, or you'll count to 3. And as I'm coming, then, I can't stop until you either click your finger or you do the hand signal that we have, or, you say stop.
Yeah, the need for a stop trigger actually came up by emergency because she was driving somewhere and just talking to me on the phone. The sound of my voice unintentionally triggered her to start coming, and I was afraid she was going to pass out while she was driving her fucking car.
I was afraid of it too.
Yeah, so we had to, I had to think fast, and what I did was put just a horribly graphic sexual image in her mind of something no one should ever have to see. And that managed to take her out of orgasm mode, but that's not exactly a smooth and gentle way to go about doing that.
No, it's not.
So anyway, you were talking about the sensations.
So, and it is true, like just your voice, you have a very sexy voice, and so when you're talking to me in certain tones, it automatically will come out. So I try to limit my phone calls with you whenever I'm driving. Just to be safe.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You still do that?
I still do that. It's dangerous.
But see, guys, shit I only get to learn because of you.
Yes, I hate it when I'm too open. So anyway, but I get this. It's hard to explain what I feel inside, but it's like my pussy lips are actually opening and closing and opening and closing, kind of like when you do exercises,
Yeah.
It's like it's open and close, and then if you don't stop me, it just releases, and I feel like I'm going to gush. I don't, but I feel like I'm going to. Usually, I mean, I am a squirter, and
yeah, but it's with you. We've never really nailed down the method. It's still a little bit sporadic and a little uncontrolled.
Right, it's very sporadic. So, but anyway, so for me, I keep coming until I pass out, basically. And that's a great feeling. And then you wake me up and then I have a smile on my face.
So the key though is that I can do that by snapping my fingers.
Yes.
In the middle of a restaurant. I mean, there is zero physical contact required. Now, the snapping my fingers is a conditioned response that I have trained.
Correct.
Initially, it was counting to 3. But anyway, our intention with this is now to find maybe, 8, 10, 12 couples who do not need to be within driving distance. Although those of you who did reach out to us the first time, those 3 or 4 of you who wanted to be part of the whole in-person thing, this is open to you as well. What I will say is that we are only going to mention this on the show. We will not be Facebooking about it. We will not be tweeting about it. So this is something, getting in on this is something that we want to do with people who are actually listeners and not necessarily just casual acquaintances on Facebook.
Correct.
Please reach out if you are in an established dominant submissive or master slave relationship with a female submissive. Gender of the dom is irrelevant, and we would be interested in talking to you. And the intention here is still to be a bit sciencey. What we want to do is take our method and put it in the hands of some other people and just see what happens. There's an expectation that not everybody will succeed, or some people will struggle with it and others won't, and that's all a part of the process. It's going to help us figure out how to maybe develop some alternate methods or figure out how to make this available to a wider range of individuals. And the end goal will be to publish this and make it available to the entire world.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That shower coming right now. Let me hold the microphone up. Stop.
Yeah, I can't go that far because I'll just pass out and end the episode.
Ding.
Oh. Okay, well.
We've only gone 8 minutes, Shara.
It's quite all right. I think a short version today is good. We have a hot tub to go to.
So, in the interest of being a little bit more thorough here, I would like to share some of my impressions about the effect that the training has on you, and see what your response is. See if you agree or disagree with my observations.
Okay.
So you have mentioned before that the physical pleasure sensation does not start right away after you are commanded to come.
Correct. And it's different than, say, if you're licking me, or, it's a different kind of coming that ends up happening with me.
Right.
Than if we're having sex.
Although it's worth saying that the commanded orgasms on top of sex work very, very well. So it's basically an ability to turn it up to 11 when you're fucking or licking pussy or whatever.
We'll have to try that maybe this evening to
Sure.
see,
Didn't get it up this morning? That's fine. I got more for you.
All day long, you know me.
So, and I have speculated that what I've essentially done is conditioned a muscle response. I think that I have conditioned your pelvic floor muscles to spasm when I give you the trigger, when I give you the command.
Correct.
And I think that creates the sexual pleasure, but it takes a little bit of time. Because basically when you're flexing those muscles, you're rubbing your pussy against itself inside. You're actually creating friction. You're creating some kind of stimulation that was not there before the muscle started to flex.
Correct.
So we will be going into this in more detail and writing up kind of a summary, but we wanted to put it out there first and foremost to say to Scally in Seattle, Scally, right?
Yes.
To say to Scally in Seattle, we are actually working on something, so you will hear from us. Your name is on the list, and you will hear from us as soon as we have something ready to put together, and it should not be long. I intend to be kicking this off within 4 weeks of this broadcast.
Good.
So we'll get something together fast. And more people will come, harder and faster and easier.
And loving it.
That's right. As
I do.
So, is there anything else you would like to talk about regarding your coming on command experiences?
It's hard for me to talk about because it's like such an awesome experience that if other people can actually do it, and I know not everyone can, but if they've ever tried it, it's well, first of all, you're giving basically certain parts of control of your body up to somebody else that you trust. And so, which is a big thing. You really need to trust that person and know that they know what they're doing and that they're going to be at the other end if you think, like when I pass out, I need you to bring me back. So,
right.
You have to be able to trust your partner. So that's one of the big things, which, I trust you completely. So.
Well, and one interesting element here is that I have the ability to bestow the power to make you come on others and also retract it.
Yes, but let's hope that Prof doesn't hear that. Maybe he won't listen to an episode or something, so yes.
Well, maybe Prof will hear about that at dinner tonight.
Maybe we might have to miss dinner. So yeah.
But as long as I am saying it in front of her, I can say, this person now has the ability to control your orgasms. And that will remain until I give her a counter command.
And it doesn't work if somebody else tries it and he hasn't informed me that they have the right. It has to come from him telling me so-and-so has the right now to make you come on command. So if somebody came up to me and just tried it and clicked their fingers or whatever, it's going to have no reaction to me whatsoever.
Right, and it's also important to say, I think, that some of these aspects developed over time. This wasn't all true 5 minutes after the first time I got her to orgasm on command.
Sure.
But so it takes some repetition, like anything. If you don't use it, you lose it. I don't think I've ever stopped.
Oh, no.
For long enough to have any detriment on the training.
You rarely stop. Who are you kidding? Who are you trying to kid?
Well, it's every once in a while you get a little bit snippy. And I think you forget that you're my property. And it's nice to be able to go, oh, by the way.
Click. Well, please don't do that now. Yes, he's true. That's true.
Oh, where's my xylophone? Fucking ding.
I know. But yes, it's true. Okay, so next. Change the subject.
Well, we are still talking about you coming on command. Then I have often told her, she complains sometimes. Because it does, I guess, it has become a little bit old hat because she comes so easily. One downside is that the ease of orgasming has bled into the rest of your sex. So it's not, you come so easily now that you basically are constantly having orgasms whenever you're getting fucked. And are almost constantly having orgasms whenever you're sucking dick.
Oh, that's very true.
And the downside of that is that I don't get to play with orgasm denial anymore because it's not fair. I mean, I can make her stop, but then, that's going to last. That's a momentary thing. And then, I basically conditioned her to the point where I can't use orgasm denial anymore. And I am happy to wave goodbye to it because I think this is a much better toy.
I agree with you on that.
But for the purposes of science and thorough investigation, that is something I have given up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So is there anything, since sometimes you end up saying things, not because you ever hide anything from me, but because there's things that don't occur to you to say until we're in front of a microphone.
I think he's trying to get me to admit to something else.
No, I'm not trying to get you to admit to anything. I'm trying to ask you if there is anything, what's the best way to phrase it? Is there anything we can improve about the process or the results of the process? I mean, are there particular parts of it that you feel would be more beneficial to you if it was a little bit different?
No, I think it works great. I really don't. I don't have any complaints about it at all. One of the things, though, that a master needs to remember with the submissive, it's a different type of coming. It's not the same.
Right, it is not a replacement for stimulated orgasms.
Right, but also it is different, so the energy that it takes from a person, it's tiring. It can be very tiring. So a little bit of rest afterwards is always good, which I don't get a lot of.
Yeah, I know. I send you right back to the salt mines.
I know you do. Sometimes you're doing it at the salt mines. Ugh.
Not anymore. Too many fucking people work for us now. We can't even fucking work anymore, but that's another topic.
So, anyway. Oh, I feel like I need to go get the xylophone. So anyway, I just think it's important for the master to understand it's, the enjoyment comes from the demand and having respect for the master and wanting to please him versus just having hot sex.
Okay.
Okay. So, got to throw that hot sex in there, what you do. But I want that to be known to other listeners out there if they're going to try something, to understand that you still have to, remember that this doesn't replace having sex.
Right.
Because it is a different feeling.
And I see it as a tool of control.
Oh, I know how you see it.
Above and beyond all things.
But maybe the listeners don't know how you see it.
Well.
I'm sure they do now.
Well, as I said, all submissives get a little bit lippy sometimes, and it's also it also should probably be added that it's a Pavlovian training method at its root, and I do it a particular way and have had particularly good results. But there are other people who use Pavlovian training for in similar ways. I just have not run into anyone, and we have looked at this point, have not run into anyone who is getting exactly the same type of results that we are. So we feel that is notable. But once the orgasm training is done, the foundation has been laid for other kinds of training, such as Shara may or may not have ever shared with the audience, I can make her make pony sounds uncontrollably. I can make her bark like a dog uncontrollably. It doesn't matter where she is. Bark. That little whine is her wishing she could make it stop. Bark.
Yes. Master.
Giddy up. You should see the look she's giving me right now. Oh, if only the internet had eyes. One day it'll be a video podcast.
Oh, no.
But, so, the animal noises thing is just another, honestly, way to entertain myself and make her blush. But the fact of the matter is that it's just an add-on. So I trained her to, once I had laid the foundation of the orgasms, I used that to train her to have a different response to a different command. So it really can be taken quite a bit farther. And however, it is also a lot of power for one person to have over another. So power may be misused. And hopefully we will be able to moderate that.
Yes. Agree.
But that's also the reason we want to start this out with people in established relationships who have a high degree of trust. Mm-hmm. And it may happen, it may happen quickly. It may happen in a couple of training sessions. I'm not telling anyone how long it took me to train Shara because I don't want that information out there. I think it muddies the pool and it creates an expectation where we just want to see results or we want to see what happens as opposed to creating expectations or making people think that it should take this amount of time.
I agree.
So, anything else we want to say on this?
No, I think you've covered it very well.
The look on your face is priceless.
Time for the hot tub.
And that pretty much brings episode 78 to a close. So, Shara has taken on the responsibility of providing me with material for us to talk about on the podcast.
Oh boy, is there material.
Yes, I know.
But it's great. I mean, I love the questions that people send us.
Yeah, so we'll be releasing at least 2 more episodes before the trip. And I hope, there's our regular scheduled episode that we're going to record it's a scheduled event during the trip. So there's our regular episode, and then we'll also have whatever else we end up recording.
I know, and I think we could do a lot of that.
Yep.
Of course, we get quite busy playing, and that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to when we get there early is you and I tend to go off by ourselves to have a little bit of our, quiet time, and we can actually do that on Friday so that it opens up a little bit more time with everybody else for the rest of the trip. And I love the time alone with you that we have. Don't get me wrong. I think you know that because I know
there's going to be 4 a.m. pizza on Friday, right?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, when I talk about our getaway time, I think it's important in every relationship that you have that alone time. And I appreciate the fact that you actually make sure that happens. I don't have to tap you on the shoulder. It's you make that time happen.
Well, one of the things that has worked out really well for us is to play together in the mornings. Mm-hmm. So every day we get playtime. We start the day with playtime, so there's never any worry about whether or not we're going to have sexy time before the end of the day or something like that. That way, whatever else happens, we know we get our alone time. I like that.
We leave our evenings free for those who want to spend time with us.
Yeah, whatever.
So I love it though, but I especially like that beginning of the trip, and we get our suitcases in the room and we just quickly put things away, and then we have that little bit of time, and then this year we'll have enough time to even go and lay on one of the beds on the beach and take a little nap after our time too. So I'm just really looking forward to the trip. We really need it. So hoping people can join us and add to the nice crowd. I was wishing our medical advisor, and you know who you are, that you and your lovely wife could have joined us this time. So I'm hoping sometime soon you will, because I'd really love to spend some time with you too.
Yeah, so that just about does it. We will be recording, Shara. When are we recording another episode?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Okay, we'll record another one tomorrow, and we will release it next week.
Sounds good.
Maybe in the middle of the week.
I think in the middle.
Maybe I'm going to stop giving a fuck about release schedule and just record stuff and release it.
Try to be more like Dylan. He's trying to let loose a little bit too. That poor guy, he does so much editing.
He needs to do my editing.
If he listens to this podcast, which he probably never has time to listen to our podcast, but if he did, all I can say is he's probably giving you the finger right now after he heard you say that. As much as I know he likes you, he'd probably be giving you the finger.
Yeah, so as always, feel free to reach out to us, jvaltheros@gmail.com, jvshara@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook or Twitter. Shout at us right on the bathroom wall. You never know when we're going to stop by. However else you feel like sending up a smoke signal, we're always happy to hear from the audience. And we're pretty much full of it from now until the end of the year, so we're going to have some fun.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
So until next time, this is JV and Shara reminding you that sex is one of the greatest things in life, but there is always room for better.
Always.